Welcome to the HVAC Brief Podcast, your essential industry update in under 10 minutes. I'm Greg Adams, bringing you the latest news, legislative changes, and marketing tips that matter to HVAC contractors. Stay informed, stay ahead. Let's dive in.
Hey everyone, and welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be tackling something pretty relevant to, well, everyone, really.
Definitely. Especially these days, right?
For sure. We're diving into the world of HVAC.
HVAC. Always a hot topic.
See what you did there?
Couldn't resist.
But seriously, folks, this isn't just about your furnace needing a filter change. We're talking about some really big and exciting developments that could change how we heat and cool our homes.
It's true. And the article we came across on HVACbrief.com really piqued our interest.
Yeah, Carrier just announced this new technology, and they're calling it a game changer.
Big claim.
Right. It's one thing to make a better air conditioner, but they're saying this is going to completely change the game. And it's not even just about saving money on your energy bill, though. Wouldn't that be nice?
Saving money is always good.
It is. But this goes beyond that. They're saying this system is designed to make the whole power grid more stable.
Which, with the extreme weather we've been seeing, huge.
Totally. And get this, there's a cybersecurity element to it, too. I mean, your AC unit is a target for hackers. Didn't see that coming.
It really highlights how interconnected everything is these days. But back to HVAC as an energy hog, it's a bigger issue than a lot of people realize.
Right. You just don't think about it. Out of sight, out of mind until that energy bill comes.
Exactly. And this article, it said that HVAC systems can account for, get this, 20 to 70% of the load on the electrical grid.
Whoa. Seriously. That much.
That's what it says. So you can imagine during those heat waves or cold snaps when everyone's cranking up their systems, it puts a massive strain on the whole system.
So anything that can make our homes more energy efficient, especially during those peak times.
It has this ripple effect. It's not just about you staying comfortable, it's about the whole system being able to handle the load.
So let's talk about how this hybrid system actually works. The article mentioned lithium-ion batteries and operating independently, but help me wrap my head around it. I'm a visual learner.
Okay, think of it like a hybrid car. It switches between gas and electric depending on what's most efficient at the time, right?
Right, makes sense.
This hybrid HVAC system, it's similar. It uses this combo of traditional HVAC tech, your furnace, your AC unit, and it adds in these lithium-ion batteries.
Okay, so the batteries are like that extra boost of power when you need it.
Precisely. So at night, for example, when electricity demand is lower and often cheaper, the system charges up the batteries. Then when demand surges, like on a scorching summer afternoon, it can draw power from those batteries instead of putting all that stress on the grid.
So instead of my EC struggling to keep up while my energy bill skyrockets, it's just chilling, using its own little energy stash.
Exactly. And you avoid those peak pricing charges.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. The article also mentioned something about 10 million homes and 25 gigawatts. Now, I'm not an engineer, so break that down for me. What does that even mean?
It's about scale. Carrier isn't just talking about individual homes being more efficient. They're talking about making a dent in the overall energy landscape. They estimate that if 10 million homes had this hybrid tech, it would add the equivalent of 25 gigawatts of capacity to the grid.
Okay, that sounds impressive, but I'm not sure I really grasp with that.
It's like 25 Hoover Dams worth of power. Or, to put it another way, enough to power about 5% of all homes in the entire U.S. That's huge.
Wow, okay. Suddenly, game changer is starting to make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But, and you knew this was coming.
There's always a but, right?
Always. This all sounds amazing, but it can't be cheap. Are we talking about a second mortgage here just to get it installed?
Well, the article didn't give specifics on pricing.
Figures?
But it's probably safe to assume that, at least initially, these hybrid systems are going to be a bigger investment upfront compared to a traditional system.
Yeah, I got to pay to play, especially with new tech. But I'm guessing the idea is that it pays for itself over time.
Exactly. Think of it as an investment. You'll save money on those lower energy bills and dodging the peak pricing periods. Plus, there's always the possibility of future incentives or tax breaks as this technology becomes more widespread.
Okay, incentives. Now you're speaking my language.
Okay.
And speaking of things becoming more popular, the article also mentioned something about heat pumps and even Carrier making a big acquisition.
Right, and this is where it gets interesting. It's not just about this one hybrid system from Carrier. We're seeing a shift in the entire HVAC industry.
Really? Like what?
Well, heat pumps, for one, they're super energy efficient and gaining popularity fast.
To be honest, I'm not even totally sure what a heat pump is. It sounds promising, though.
So imagine a two-way refrigerator, but for your house. It moves heat from one place to another, so it can heat and cool.
Ah, I see. So more efficient because they're moving heat instead of actually having to generate it.
Exactly. And a lot of their popularity is because of those government incentives like tax credits that are encouraging people to go with more sustainable options. And then there's Carrier's acquisition of Viessmann.
Right. That was a big one. Over $13 billion, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, $13.2 billion to be exact. And Viessmann is a major player in the European heating market. They're known for these integrated home energy solutions. So Carrier buying them for that kind of money tells you they're serious about shifting from just selling furnaces or AC units to offering these complete systems that manage your home's energy as a whole.
So it's like moving from just trying to cool down my living room to thinking about my entire home's energy ecosystem.
Exactly. It's a whole new way of thinking about things.
That's a pretty huge shift.
It really is. And it speaks to a larger trend we're seeing. It's becoming less about selling individual appliances and more about providing these smart, integrated solutions that save energy, reduce costs, and make homes more responsive to, the demands of a changing climate.
So, okay, this is all super interesting, but let's bring it back down to earth for a sec. Let's say I'm not about to run out and buy a whole new HVAC system right this second. What can I actually do with this information right now?
That's a great question. Even if you're not replacing your system anytime soon, this information is still super valuable just for future planning. When the time does come to upgrade, you'll already be ahead of the curve. You'll understand these new technologies, what to look for.
Right, so it's like forewarned is forearmed when it comes to HVAC.
Exactly. But don't underestimate what you can do right now. Smart thermostats, for example. Those aren't some futuristic thing anymore. They're here. And they can really make a difference in optimizing your current HVAC system.
Yeah, it seems like everyone I know has one or is at least talking about getting one.
For sure. And this actually brings us back to that second article about Google business profiles. Because staying informed about these HVAC trends, it's not just about the tech itself, it's about being a savvy consumer and being able to navigate this whole evolving landscape.
Okay, I see where you're going with this. But how does Google fit into all of this?
Well, think about it. As these new technologies like this Carrier hybrid system or even just high-efficiency heat pumps, as they become more mainstream, you're going to see more and more businesses offering them.
Makes sense.
And that's where being an informed consumer is key. You'll want to be able to research different providers, compare their services, their pricing, and just make sure they're legit, that they're qualified to install this cutting-edge stuff.
And that's where Google business profiles come in.
Exactly. That article really got me thinking about how important it is to be able to find reliable information about businesses online these days. When you're making a big investment, like a new HVAC system, you want to make sure you're choosing the right people for the job. And online reviews, ratings, information on Google, that can be super helpful.
It's like it's not just about finding the best tech. It's about finding the right people to actually put it in and make sure it's all working right.
Exactly. It's about connecting those dots. Understanding the technology, being aware of what's happening in the industry, and then having the knowledge and the tools to make those smart decisions for your own home.
It's like being an HVAC detective.
That's one way to put it.
Okay, so we've talked about hybrid HVAC systems turning our homes into mini power stations, but what else could this mean down the line? Could this lead to whole new industries popping up around home energy management?
Oh, absolutely. We could be on the verge of a major shift in how we think about not just HVAC, but energy in general. Imagine homes going from just being consumers of energy to actually being active participants in a more decentralized grid.
That's a really interesting thought. So instead of just relying on big power plants, we could have neighborhoods sharing energy with each other.
Exactly. And that kind of change could disrupt traditional utility models. We could see new markets for these innovative energy services. It could even influence how we design communities in the future.
Wow. It's kind of mind-blowing to think that the way we heat and cool our homes could have such a big impact on, everything. It really shows how innovation in one area can have these ripple effects that we might not even imagine at first.
Absolutely. And that's what makes all of this so fascinating. We often think of HVAC as this mundane thing, but it has the potential to be a driving force in creating a more sustainable and resilient energy future.
It really is amazing to think about.
It is. It's like we always say, sometimes those most groundbreaking ideas are right there in front of us.
Totally. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of smart HVAC and how it might just change, everything.
But before we go, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on all of this? Do you think hybrid HVAC systems are going to live up to the hype? Head over to our social media and let us know. Share your predictions, your questions, or even just your wildest ideas. Who knows, maybe your comment will spark our next deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.
That wraps up today's HVAC Brief. I'm Greg Adams, helping you stay on top of the HVAC industry. For more in-depth coverage and exclusive content, head over to hvacbrief.com/subscribe and sign up for our newsletter. Until next time, keep cool and stay efficient.